Hey, I'm on. Miracle of Miracles. This is try number 3. Here we go. Turn the light on. This is attempt number 3. Okay. I was on at 4:20, or at least I was ready 4:20. YouTube wasn't. So I was here. I was token. Everything was cool. Okay. Except you couldn't see me. So I was here though. I was doing my show. YouTube wasn't doing their shit, but I was doing mine. So I don't know what the problem was, but this was my 3rd attempt to get on the air. Okay, to show up for you folks. And YouTube was totally uncooperative. Bastards. But here I am anyway. Finally showed up. Okay. Or at least they finally let me show up. So I'm here for you now. So happy 434. Oh, naughty Nikki B. Welcome, bird. Took me forever to get here today. I don't know what the hell's wrong with the tube today, but it's not my tube. Must be your tube. Because it sure shit ain't working for me today. This is my 3rd attempt to get on. So. But at least I made it. That's what counts. I'm here. And I got news for you. Right here. And the first story is amazing. In 2010, Doug Olson, a victim of lymphatic leukemia, an incurable blood cancer, became the 2nd person to receive CAR T cell therapy. Now, it's an experimental tactic to engineer his own immune system to fight cancer. Now, Carl June, an immunologist at the University of Pennsylvania and a senior researcher on the experiment, said they thought that CAR T cells would be gone in a month or 2. Well, year after year, the CAR T cells persisted actively watching for cancer cells. And Doug Olson has been cancer-free for 10 years now, and Carl June has dared to say what few oncologists have said. Doug Olson is cured of cancer. Now, after 10 years, no leukemia cells and CAR T cells are still on patrol. So Doug Olson is doing really well. Now, the other participant, Bill Ludwig, patient number 1, he was cancer-free as well up until January of 2021 when he died of COVID-19. So these people were cured of cancer, an actual cancer cure. Who'd have thought? But there are now approved CAR T treatments for 6 different indications, including different types of leukemia, lymphoma, and myeloma. But nearly all other patients have experienced a relapse. So it hasn't been quite as effective for anyone else as it was for these 2 individuals that were started treatment 10 years ago. So, but it's pretty amazing they're that close to a cure for cancer. You know, they're still going to continue to experiment with these CAR T cells, and see what happens. But we're getting there. Beats the shit out of chemotherapy. Now, Stoney said, Hillian, to send your address to KD. said hello and to send your address to KD. KD has my address, I believe. I'm not sure, but she should, because I've sent her stuff. My return address was on it. I hope she kept it, but if not, I will. So that's pretty good news, I think. Now, 16 shots in a cover-up. There was a familiar rallying cry in 2014 for protesters on the streets of Chicago. That was when 17-year-old Laquan McDonald was murdered by Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke. The dash cam video wasn't released for almost a year. Okay. The cops originally claimed that that Laquan was hey, Bubble One, welcome aboard. They claimed that Laquan was attacking Officer Van Dyke with a knife. But once the video cam footage was released, it was obvious that that Laquan was walking away from Officer Van Dyke and was shot in the back 16 times. Okay. So Officer Van Dyke was charged with second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated assault. Now, he was tried in 2019 and convicted of those charges. And the prosecutor, Joe McDonald, asked for a sentence of 18 to 20 years for Van Dyke. And the judge sentenced him to 7. Okay. But when you consider how few police officers are sentenced to any prison time at all for any crimes they commit, and it being Chicago and my having lived there most of my life, I don't think I've ever seen a cop go to jail for anything. And I mean, I've seen footage of them beating the shit out of people, okay, while on duty, and never gone to prison for that. I was at the 68 Democratic National Convention where they clubbed the fuck out of people. I know a reporter who at that time was filming on top of an automobile. He was taking pictures, actually, on top of an automobile, his own automobile, of the riots, and a cop grabbed him by the ankles and dropped him on his face and smashed his camera. Of course, the officer wasn't wearing his badge at the time, so he couldn't get his badge number. But, and he was wearing a press pass, okay. So it didn't seem to matter. So violence in Chicago by police officers was commonplace. To find out that this guy got a sentence of only 7 years was really not surprising, but that he went to jail at all was something in and of itself. Well, he was released this week after serving only 3 years. Okay. Actually, he was sentenced to less than 7 years. It was slightly less than 7 years. So he was released this week after only serving 3 years. He got time off for good behavior, you know, so, which is common in Illinois, by the way, for anyone to get off for good behavior. My cousin was sentenced to 20 years for life for killing a police officer, and he got out in 15. So So, but without the dash cam footage, he never would have been convicted of anything. There wouldn't have even been a trial. They would have taken his word for it that he was shot in the back 16 times because he was coming at him. Okay. So, but it was surprising that he got out so soon. Okay. I mean, 3 years for second-degree murder is virtually nothing, of course. So now the NAACP wrote a letter to Merrick Garland and asked that he be charged on federal hate crime charges. And the two Illinois senators, Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth, have commented that they would see to it that the Justice Department looks into this. And hopefully he will be brought up on federal hate crime charges and will end up serving more time, because he certainly deserves to serve more than 3 years for murder. When you consider that Pamela Moses, 44-year-old black woman from Tennessee, is going to serve 6 years and a day in prison because Tennessee fucked up. Okay, she's a convicted felon who in November was tried for trying to register to vote while ineligible. Now, prosecutors claim she knowingly tried to register to vote in 2019. Being a convicted felon in Tennessee, you need to be certified that your sentence is completed. Okay. And when she pled guilty to a felony in 2015, no one told her she couldn't vote. Okay. And they never took her off the voting rolls in the state. She was still listed as a eligible voter. So she decided in 2019 that she wanted to run for mayor. Okay. And so she went in to run for mayor, and they said, you can't run for mayor because she was a convicted felon who was still serving a sentence, that she was still on probation. So she went to court to clarify whether or not she was still on probation. And the judge told her she was. Well, she thought the judge miscalculated the time that she had served. So she went to a local probation office, and they agreed that her time served had been miscalculated. And they gave her a certificate to that effect. So she went to the local polling place and registered to vote, which they allowed her to do. The next day, the polling place got a letter, an email from the Department of Corrections. And the Department of Corrections said, wait a minute, our clerk fucked up and she's still serving time. So The prosecutor claims that she fooled the Department of Corrections clerk into giving her that certificate. And now she's sentenced to 6 years and a day. Okay, she was sentenced this week. So 6 years and a day for this fraud she perpetrated. Except that there's she was, never removed from these voting rolls. Okay, she's always been on the rolls. Now, election officials, they've never convicted anyone for this type of violation. Never before has anyone gone to prison for violating the voting rules. Okay, whether knowingly or not. So she's been singled out for this. So for some reason or another, she's being picked on, and it appears to be racially motivated. So now, it's I don't know. They really fucked her around. So wow, the weed of the week is venom pupils. Okay, and it's 22% THC, and it's a sativa hybrid, and it tastes damn good, I must say. Meta Platforms Incorporated, the parent company of Facebook, now has the record for being the one-day crash record on the stock market, the worst crash in history. They dropped by 26% on Thursday, a total of $251.3 billion. Although it may bounce back to some degree, experts say that due to competition, this may mark the beginning of the end for Facebook. So there's the bright spot in my news day. And that's all I have to say. So if anybody wants to talk, let's talk. If there's anybody there to talk to me. Otherwise, this is going to be a really short show. And it just may be. Nikki B, Bubble, you still there? Because I'm done with the news if you want to talk to me. I guess not. Well, this may be a really short show. Well, if there's no one there to talk to, I guess I'll just say there's nothing funny about peace, love, and understanding. And it was nice being here today. And I'll just say, have a happy. And I'll shut this thing down. And tune in Tuesday for some music and stuff. And bye now.